Oh, man. That must have stung. Hummus. 60 cycle hummus. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
I'm not ready for this, man.
Oh, come on.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. As soon as I realized that you were recording, I looked down at my notebook and realized I've written down nothing.
We haven't even picked the ads that we're going to do.
Right. Okay. I'm not crazy.
We're rolling with it, Steve. We're rolling with it.
I thought did we talk about ads and I just zoned out?
I just decided we would start recording without planning out the episode.
That's fine.
We're going to fly by the seat of our pants.
Hit me with that first topic.
This is a top
As
pick.
Brian Gower would say, hit me with that first topic.
Top picks of the topics.
Baby!
On 60 Cycle Hum, Maximilian Kane Hibbs. I feel like he should have like a third or fourth in his name. That's a fancy name, and I like it. I admire it. Maximilian Kane Hibbs the third requests this top pick. What genre deserves the revival spot instead of pop punk?
Is pop punk the current revival?
I guess. I mean,
Did pop punk ever really go away?
I think the pop punk aesthetic is coming back with all your Machine Gun Kellys and whatnot. But Steve had doubts in this topic.
I heard certain Zoomers just think that Demi Lovato is the new Machine Gun Kelly.
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't even know how that makes sense.
Or what it means. Yeah. It all will be deciphered in time. So Steve, we're gonna do this based around the greatest genre revival of all time.
Swing.
Just like the strongest, the most definite spike in revival that we've ever seen in the history of mankind as far as music genres go. Swing revival of the 90s.
Who's your favorite swing? So hold on. Okay.
Because obviously that is peak revival where it took over so completely for about 6 months.
On the count of three. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to say best swing revival band name. You ready?
Best name.
1, 2, 3, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Where
were you, Ryan?
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I just always really liked the name Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Squirrel Nut Zippers.
It's a great name. And then you find out that it's a candy bar, and you're like, oh, that's
it is?
endearing. Yeah, it's the name of like an old-fashioned candy bar.
Dumb.
A Squirrel Nut Zipper.
I thought it was like a zip gun reference.
Guys, I was on board with Swing Revival. I was listening to bands. I had CDs.
Did it? It lasted for more.
I never danced.
It had to last more than 6 months.
Well, yeah, there was a scene that popped up for
maybe 7 months.
No, I want to say that for about 2 years there was like a group of people that that kid's into swing, but then there was about 6 months on like radio and pop culture.
I had a Royal Crown Review album.
Sure,
I owned one.
I believe you. I wouldn't doubt that for a second, Steve. I feel like you're a little bit young for it, because you must have been like 10 or 11 when that was going on.
Well, I think there's a couple. I think Swing Revival,
because Swing Revival was about peak teen for me, so you must have been peak tween.
I think
not peak teen, like peak, like this is like I'm becoming a teenager. This is what is like the thing. Well, I guess I was like 16 or something like that.
I think Swing Revival. This said Swing Revival started in 1989, but I would not count that.
No, we're talking, that is like the beginning of the plateau. We're talking about that hump in the 90s that was just a spike. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so I'll throw this at you then. So you
have to name a genre. You have to name a genre that you want to see.
Hold on,
revive for a very extreme 6 month period of time.
Big Bad Voodoo Daddies, You and Me and the Bottle Makes Three, which was their song that got played on the radio and whatever, came out in 1998.
Right.
So I win.
Okay, whatever. I was 18 or 17 like when I was aware of this stuff.
Oh, dang. But Muggsy's Move came out in 1996?
I kind of blame swing for killing the public's interest in ska. Like we flew too close to the sun getting ska on the radio in the 90s. And I think swing saw an opportunity and they took it and they ruined it. You know, they swooped in there. They're like, well, ska can do it, so can we. And then they ruined not only swing, but they also ruined ska.
Zoot Suit Rag
because
came
it was
out
like
in
this,
1997.
It was like the same people, you know?
No, it was definitely...
It was the same audience.
I would say this was not the direction we were supposed to go, but that's okay. Ska was like punk music for band kids. Swing was like... like prog music for band kids.
No.
But not drummers.
Swing was punk for drama kids.
Swing wasn't punk for any. Well, so that was the other thing. That's what
that's what it is. Swing was punk.
Yeah, I can see that.
So drama kids could go to concerts.
That's fair. They could, because they could dress up.
I've got all these jazz hands. What am I going to do with them?
Oh my God.
I got to go see a band or I'm going to explode from jazz hands. I have to dance. It's theater kids. It's theater kids. Swing is
the funny thing about
swing
this
is ska for theater kids.
Is Blank Check with Griffin and David is going. Their current director is Bob Fosse, so it's all like musical. It's like all musicals right now.
Right.
It's like anyway, or like musical related theater type productions. It made me think of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I could see that. I also was looking at like Swing Kids. There was that movie Swing Kids, which came out in 1993. I don't know what it's about, but that's part of Swing Revival.
There was a slow build in culture leading towards like Swing Revival because of movies. Like you think about the movies that were coming out earlier in the 90s and late 80s and building up and up to this, and like the kind of like look back to detective noir stories and even like the pulpier, like kind of goofy stuff like Dick Tracy and things like that. There's a whole like movement of that in the 80s. And then you hit like Newsies. Newsies was a huge movie.
Yeah.
And then
that's kind of swing.
You're getting, like swing bar scenes in like Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones spoofs and knockoffs and things like that. And then you're leading into the 90s with friggin' like The Mask. And
The Mask
and Swingers coming out like in the same.
I haven't seen Swingers. Should I see that movie?
It's like a fun indie flick sort of vibe. But like that was like
starring Jean Favreau.
The Mask, I think, represents like halfway up the uptake of swing.
Right.
And it was like, whoa, it's in The Mask. And then it's like everyone's like, I'm kind of tired of dancing.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I mean,
but we still haven't answered the question. Like, what genre? Are there any genres that we think need the swing treatment?
You mean the pop punk treatment?
Well, pop punk wants the swing treatment right now, but it doesn't deserve it.
I kind of want. I want to know what grunge revival would look like right now.
That would be okay. So that would be like punishment to Gen Xers. That would hurt them.
Oh, you think so? Is grunge such a that cynical of a genre?
That was the poser generation. What do you? We were. I'm on the butt end of Gen X, where people are like, you're not Gen X, but everyone who when I was a teen told me I was Gen X. Where it's like I was there for the culture, but I wasn't old enough to participate in it. Like I could never go to like a grunge show by myself or whatever.
So you're saying that Gen Xers would. So
that was the culture of like, oh, well, this band's a poser now, or that guy's a poser. He doesn't even like this band.
Yeah.
Like, how is Gen X going to react to kids now starting their own grunge bands and cosplaying as like grungy Seattleites? They're not going to like it.
That's an interesting point because, and the analog to that is, again, we're talking about swing revival. Like you could go to your grandparents' house in the 1990s and be like, your grandparents would be like, what are you listening to? And you'd be like, oh, I'm listening to the whatever swing band, Flight 180 or whatever. And you play it for your grandparents, and be like, and they're going to go to the record player, like, let me show you Benny Goodman.
Right.
And now you're having this moment. You're having this multi-generational moment. But you're right, Jen, if you're like, oh, I'm listening to this band, they're called, whatever.
Have you ever watched the Lawrence Welk Show?
And no, I'm not since I was like 8.
But you have.
I'm familiar with it.
I
drive by his house like 6 times a week.
There's a Lawrence Welk like golf area on the way to Steve's. I used to watch the Lawrence Welk Show. Like,
right.
Kind of like probably.
It was like a comedy sketch,
12 or 13,
music review, right?
But I liked the music.
Yeah.
I was like, this is chill music. And I still kind of like, like I'm into exotica music and like Martin Denny and stuff like that. Like it's kind of, that music has a vibe. And that show was like, you're watching a little 13-inch tube TV in the early 90s or whatever. And it's old fashioned, but it's on the right device for it. Mm-hmm. And there's like grown men with like bleach blonde hair and like purple pastel suits and bubbles are flying around and they're playing like some kind of like groovy jazz.
Right. But I think I understand what you're saying is that, if I don't even know because grunge revival hasn't happened, but if it did happen, all these Gen Xer parents, they're not going to be like, oh, let me show you my Mudhoney collection. They're just going to be like, no, we're done.
And by grunge revival, I mean like there becomes a Greta Van Fleet version of Soundgarden.
No, I 100%.
Where it's like, wow, they are really, really trying. They're really affected and really influenced by Soundgarden, not just Chris Cornell, but by Soundgarden.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And so like you get like 5 or 6 bands that peak over like 6 months. It's like the winter of grunge revival.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I'm kind of down for it. I wouldn't gatekeep it. I'd be down for it.
I think it would be interesting to see what would happen because so much of like
people get back into wah pedals.
Even the current like pop punk revival. First of all, I don't think pop punk is it really reviving. I feel like it's just never gone away. I just outgrew it.
What it really is the pop punk going, I'm not dead yet. I think I can get up today.
I mean, because there's a lot of bands that people we know will be like, oh yeah, like I'm really into the Wonder Years, or I'm really into Knuckle Puck or All Time Low or whatever. And I'm like, I know these names, but I don't know any of their songs. But they're considered pop punk. Maybe the thing is it would be like it would have to be that genre. That like sound specific, like you're saying, like pop, like a real pop punk revival. And that's the issue is like the current pop punk revival is kind of doing the 2001 to 2005 thing. It's like, it's really Blink-182 revival.
I think
some of it.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting your train of thought.
No, the train has arrived at the station.
I stopped listening to your words and I just started listening to your soul, and I could feel your soul slowing down.
Could you see my soul glow?
I think it would be legitimately entertaining if a hair metal revival was done just right. Just right. And it could never happen just right because someone would take it the despicable direction that we don't want to go. But like, what if there was...
Hold on. What is the despicable direction?
Like just getting back into the hedonism and the womanizing and, like kind of the grosser part, that sort of stuff. I'm talking a return to that kind of very powerfully poppy arena rock ready, like sincere, like rock and roll, like theatrics with spandex and controversial costumes, assless chaps, the makeup, but a reinterpretation of it that would fit the youth of today, where it's like taking like outrageous like style that you see in whether it be pop music or hip hop or something like that, and applying it to this like flamboyantly loud, screaming, showy, obnoxious hair metal, like simple, dumb songs, but just like would make the crowd so entertained.
Right.
But without maybe not without, but done through a modern lens, the hedonism and the debauchery and stuff like that.
And I think, you mentioned the Greta Van Fleet thing is the problem you have kind of these single artist revivals. Like Greta Van Fleet wasn't part of like a classic rock revival. Greta Van Fleet was the only one who was recognized. If there was a larger classic rock revival, no one knew what was happening except Greta Van Fleet.
Right. Yeah. But like,
so you want to see hair metal revival?
I think okay. It's easier to think of genres that would be fun to revive. Mm-hmm. Like it'd be fun to see like a goth kind of like Cure, like baritone, like revival, like that. Like we've had like the slow burn 80s revival, but like the goth revival.
Yeah. I've been listening to, it's interesting because I've been listening to, apparently this guy's really big in Canada. I've been listening to a podcast called The Ongoing History of New Music by Alan Cross. Mm-hmm. Who's like, I guess was a big DJ in Canada. Like every Canadian apparently knows who he is. And the series that he's doing this summer is History of Alternative Music. And he's just getting to like the British new wave, British.
Right.
And then like the goth. So like Bauhaus.
Yeah.
And like, he kind of put The Cure into like more minimalistic kind of new wavy stuff.
Sure.
Which I kind of think of them more as goth, but I can see the separation between them and a Bauhaus.
Well, what is The Cure is the No Doubt of goth. It's kind of
you mean the way like you're saying how No Doubt
is crossover goth.
Right.
Like it is goth and it is like No Doubt is respected by ska fans.
Is it?
Yeah, especially early albums and stuff.
Okay.
Like they're, like
Beacon Street or whatever.
Yeah, they're an institution. I mean, and then there's later No Doubt that is very popular. Like The Cure is that to goth. Like they're respected. Why do I know about the goth community?
I don't know.
Look at me, guys. You know me, the expert on goth. Your resident expert on gothic music. Here I am, Ryan Burke.
Ridiculous. Goth revival, I think. So you have what's hard, I think, is you have certain aesthetic revivals that are happening. I think they're like aesthetically, there is like a goth revival that is intersected with like e-girls.
Yeah, I guess.
That whole thing.
I guess with like the fact, I don't do e-girls. I listen to a specific type of music. I'm assuming they do. I don't know.
Well, and then there's like the whole, I think we talked about it on the show before, but emo rap.
Right. Emo rap.
Which is kind of more related to like mumblecore and whatever, but emo rap is,
when you said
I'm not a fan.
Emo rap, I could hear a commenter in my head. Like saying emo rap, finally, a blend of two musics I already don't like. And now like some awkward joke about like, oh, I don't like both of those. Like,
yeah,
I didn't think that, but I thought about someone thinking it.
Yeah. So it's like there's kind of that aesthetic that's also kind of grown out of like soft grunge from a few years ago. There was the soft grunge.
There was that soft grunge.
But again, that was all like aesthetic. You know what I'm talking about? Soft. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
You know what was a decent
like
revival?
The pastels and shit.
You know what was a decent revival?
What was a decent revival?
Garage rock.
Oh, like the Hives and
the Hives, the Strokes, like the Donnas. Yeah. All the bands.
Yeah.
I mean, we got the White Stripes out of that.
We did.
And a lot of those bands are still great, like Franz Ferdinand and stuff like that. I thought that was a really looking back, that was a really decent revival.
You know what
we didn't know what we had.
You know what I want? Okay.
I don't care.
Thank you.
I don't care if it was all so super simple and it was just like, okay, this got old fairly quick because they all kind of sound the same and they all have the same name or whatever. But it was a fun revival. Okay, say your thing.
Say 1993 to 1996, 7 adult alternative revival. I'm talking Dishwalla, Gin Blossoms.
Yes. How do you revive that though?
Sister Hazel.
How do you it's not
Blues Traveler.
Steve, it's not a genre. It's a feeling we all had together.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
You can't reproduce that, Steve. There's too much magic in that.
Counting Crows.
No. You're telling me lightning will strike twice, Steve? I don't think so.
Are you telling me lightning crashes twice?
You know what? Oh, man.
It must have been late afternoon, Ryan.
We must be getting old because we're becoming very nostalgic for the 90s right now. I just have the thought like, oh, what if 90s girl rock could come back? And I realize I just want to go back to 1995.
90s?
I'm that old that I want to go back to being young. Like
90s girl rock is kind of like maybe not straight girl rock, but 90s like
I'm thinking
Fiona
like
Appley,
L7,
Lilith
the
Fair kind
Breeders,
of stuff. Yeah.
You know, like, oh man, I love all that stuff. Like, you could make I could listen to 90s girl rock probably for a week straight and not need to change the channel. I'm not joking. Veruca Salt, dude.
You named all of the artists I know from that. I guess, would you put Hole on there?
I wouldn't put Hole in there.
Garbage.
I put Garbage. Oh, are you kidding me?
Is Garbage girl rock? Because it's really only Shirley Manson.
It doesn't matter. I love Garbage. The Cranberries.
Oh, the Cranberries, yeah.
The Cardigans.
I could listen to just the Cardigans for a week straight. Like, just go through their entire discog.
It doesn't need a revival. It just needs everyone to go back and listen to this stuff again.
The Cardigans is always a fun one because a lot of these artists, like you listen to the rest of their album, you know, you listen to an entire Breeders album. Oh, congratulations. Everything sounds like the Pixies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the indie girl bands back then, it kind of is all Pixies derivative. It's kind of that general indie sound in general. A lot of early 90s indie music just sounds like the Pixies. So people are going to get really mad. Maybe, I don't know. But
I mean, they were a big influence, and a lot of people were trying to move a certain way. You know?
But the Cardigans were actually legitimately weird, and everyone just dismisses them as the band that did Love Fool. Mm-hmm. But that album is like all over the place. Their next album is all over. The album before that, they have a cover of Iron Man.
Yeah, it's good. It's dangerously cute.
That's a perfect description of the Cardigans.
Yeah.
It's like they're one of those bands that you listen to and you don't realize like how subversive the music is because it's so tinkly.
But also like at being the exact age that I was when the Cardigans came on the radio, it's like, is this what falling in love feels like? You know?
It is, Ryan. It is.
It's like, this is an emotion I haven't had before while listening to a human voice. Like, I didn't know that I could feel that way because of hearing someone's voice, you know? Man. Now I'm just want to talk and listen to girl rock from the 90s.
I don't,
and your Alanis Morissette's and things like that. And
I think other...
There's so much, and it all got wiped out by rap rock. It all got. I blame Limp Bizkit and Korn. We had a really good thing going on, and then Limp Bizkit and Korn showed up.
What?
And screwed it all up.
What are you talking?
And then the recovery from that was emo. You assholes pushed me out of alternative rock music for like 8 years where I couldn't listen to the radio anymore. Because the people that came right after me had really bad taste in music for some reason. What were you guys doing? We had really good... I'm such an old man yelling at clouds right now. Why did you do that? Why did you take us from a place where we had so much really good music and then we got 2 waves of equally sucky things? I
think on...
And I realize there's been a resurgence and appreciation for Limp Bizkit and rap rock and new metal and whatnot. But come on, you know what I'm talking about. You guys are really good stuff.
I think Get Offset did a breakdown, and I've seen it broken down a few places. Get Offset did it. I don't remember how long ago. I couldn't tell you what episode it was, where they talked about how there was some law that changed in the way like radio station ownership worked.
Right. We saw that with like Clear Channel here
in like 1990 or in like 94, 95 or something, where basically you have it goes from where you like a radio station entity. So Clear Channel, say, could own like no more than 6 total stations in a single market. So between AM and FM. And somewhere in the mid 90s, that cap was lifted. And Clear Channel went from owning like 6 channels in every station and in every market to owning like 20 in every major market.
I remember all that going on, and it was crazy, Steve.
Yeah.
Like I think you were too young to care about that stuff, but like I was like in college.
I listened to 91X, Ryan, fiercely independent local radio.
I was like college age when all that stuff was coming to a head, and just like and I think they just were starting to change the law back or something like that. And Clear Channel was having to sell half their stations. But man, things got dumb because of that, for sure. It like overnight.
No, it's still that. I'm pretty sure it's still that way.
No, they made Clear Channel sell half their stations locally.
But the problem is they probably sold it all to like another equally large.
I'm telling you, there was like, see, you weren't aware of it when it was happening. Like this was news. Like I don't know. I'm not up on it now, but it's like it's stuff that I cared about in the news when it was happening. I'm just saying, like 2001, 2002.
Even with that breakdown, like I think Clear Channel still owns now they're iHeartRadio,
right? And
they own like 60% of the radio market, and the next 20% is owned by Odyssey. And the next like 15% is owned. There's only like 5% of stations.
But that was because Clear Channel had to sell a bunch of stations. That's why 91X went back to being independent, because that was a line,
right?
Where like they sold us because they had to get rid of us, and now we are doing a complete format change away from all this stained, disturbed corn stuff, and because they had been a alt and grunge radio station when I was a young teen, and then all of a sudden it was just like, what happened overnight? Like all the alt radio in the country just got reprogrammed overnight to just being the Midwest.
I remember, I think it was 2003, maybe it's 2004. The most I was listening to 94.9, which used to be local independent radio. And I think they're
94.9 was a response to Clear Channel because like 91X was such a mess that one of the top DJs from 91X was like, I'm going to start a new channel. And their marketing their formatting existed in opposition to Clear Channel.
And that was was that 92.5 he started?
Local radio station drama.
I know.
Like, who cares?
So the thing I remember, I don't remember if it was 2003 or 2004, and it was Halloran.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Who said it. He goes, I'm going to play. He goes, the number 1 played song in the United States this year was The Reason by Hoobastank. And he goes, I've never played that song on the station. And I think I remember like 5 years later or something, hearing The Reason on 94.9 and being like,
oh, things went down.
I can't believe this.
It's over.
Can't believe this is happening. And I thought about calling them up and being like, you guys said that you would never play this song on the station. You lied. You've lied to all of us. But the thing is there's no one manning the phones.
Right.
So
they changed hands again. You know how radio stations are. They keep getting bought and sold, and like format changes and stuff like that. So what if you had right now, let's end this thing. Pick one genre. You can make a genie wish that it will never be revived.
Never be revived.
In any way. I'm not talking peak like swing revival. I'm not talking hopeful, garage girl rock revival. I'm talking will never be revived. There won't even be a little bump where people are like, oh yeah, remember that genre? This use it in a movie to be nostalgic. There won't even be that little bit of
wow.
You want to make sure no one hears this genre ever again.
Well, they're going to hear it.
They'll never care about it again.
I think it's got to be rap rock.
So like, is that all rap rock? Or is that just your kid rocks?
I'm thinking like my high school years rap rock.
Sure.
Which, I mean, there's some bands that maybe are gonna get caught in the wake. It's always that, right? But then, you know, I guess what I would say is like maybe 2000 to 2004, 2000 to 2006, Limp Bizkit, or not Linkin Park. Never gonna hear about them ever again. But 2007 or so, when they started doing just more basic alternative. The problem is you don't actually get rid of Kid Rock because he's a country artist now.
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing. He can never play rap rock again. You know, you saved us from that.
Every time it starts up, like the power just goes down at the arena.
You're sacrificing some things when you get rid of rap rock.
Like what am I
sacrificing? Getting rid of like your Run DMCs and your Public Enemies. Your Rage Against the Machines.
I don't think I would call. I mean, you're getting rid of one Run DMC song, which, granted, you know, is the one most people know.
Your Beastie Boys. That's undeniable. You would be getting rid of the Beastie Boys, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, does it need to be more specific? Is Limp Bizkit heavy enough that we can actually just get rid of rap metal and save Run DMC?
Rap rock. You know what? I like getting rid of the rap metal, saving the rap rock. Oh. You know?
How about, can we just get rid of new metal?
It's like getting rid of the margin.
If you get rid of new metal, does it also get rid of new metal adjacent rap rock?
I think new metal includes Rage Against the Machine.
I wouldn't call them new metal.
You wouldn't call Rage Against the Machine new metal?
Not if I'm calling them rap rock.
I guess they are more rock, aren't they?
I don't know. I don't want to get rid of System of a Down. Is System of a Down new metal?
Yeah.
Because I think of new metal as like chuggy.
There's always sacrifices because there's always outliers that are like, oh, that's the version of the dumb thing for the smart people. You know? That's how the best describe new metal, this rap rock, rap metal. That's there's the good ones are the smart version of the dumb thing.
Right. Is new metal a timeline or is it a sound? I think that's the question.
Oh my gosh. Is new metal even real? Or did we just dream
Is anything real?
Did we all just have the same dream together?
You know what is real, culture. Ryan?
I haven't said which one I would erase.
What would you erase?
Not erase, but prevent there from ever being a revival. I think just broad brushstroke, a lot of bands are going to get taken out. This is a Thanos snap.
Okay.
Prog.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's not as a
What?
Hold on. It is not a punishment. It's because I know you nerds can build it back better.
No, you said you're not allowed to make it anymore.
What does a prog person love more than anything than puzzles and like little riddles and stuff? They have to figure out how to do it again without it being a revival. They'll find a time signature that never occurred to anyone that will allow them to be prog without being prog. They'll figure out the legality of it. And you know what? So many prog songs will come out of I'm calling it a banning now of prog, because what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to write a bunch of really whiny little songs about how they're actually being like enslaved and punished and like persecuted and stuff like that. They made prog illegal.
Is that a joke?
Ryan made a genie's wish and he took away prog. They're going to write so many songs just about me making a genie's wish.
Oh my gosh.
To make prog illegal.
Is this a riff on how Rush is doing songs about Ayn Rand, and
Rush fans know exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Tool is like,
oh my gosh.
Maynard
would have so much to say over the same riff for 4 minutes. It's a challenge, prog people. Because I know you're up to it.
I really thought you were going to go for like the white guy acoustic guitar genre. Your Jason Mrazes, your Jack Johnsons.
The thing about them is that you can avoid them. Like, you don't have to worry about them.
You can avoid prog. When has prog been thrust upon you? How How often you're like
every single time?
I was just driving in
single time.
Driving in my car to the grocery store, and all of a sudden, someone was cruising down the street blasting Tom Sawyer.
This song's about angels, or is it about aliens?
What?
Or is it about trees and how the trees are like people?
All right.
It's you know.
All right, Prague is...
It's symbolism with a time signature. You wouldn't get it, Steve.
King Crimson. There's no yes.
Yeah. Just
no, there's no Dream
No
Theater.
revival, Steve. It still exists. There's just no revival.
Right.
All right. What ad are we going to do? Let's do Fender Mustang.
Is that a genre that people are going to...
Oh, we should do a sponsor thing first. You didn't write it down, Steve, so we're flying by the seat of our pants.
We're actually supposed to do housekeeping now.
Do it.
Housekeeping is a part of the show where we thank people. No, not mail. Mail's different.
We get it out later.
All right.
Do it after the housekeeping.
Anyway, if you want to help support this nonsense, if you want to help us keep rap metal prog revival from happening, you can send as little as $1 or as much as $1 billion.
We're going to run to be president, and our only campaign promise is that we will prevent a rap rock and
prog revival.
We promise. Vote for Steve and Ryan. You're going to be president. I will be vice president. Like, I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone else does, so I'll be fine.
If you want to contribute to this campaign, just head over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast.
Vote Rowan Burke in 2024 and a half.
Did you just say my last name wrong?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do an ad.
Oh, we're not going to do mail?
Mail is later.
Okay. All right. Let's do the Fender Mustang. Did you have a capture on the description of this? I don't think you did.
Which one? Fender Mustang.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Fender Mustang guitar relic Kurt Cobain. $600. Squire by Fender relic Mustang guitar. This one rocks. Everything on the guitar is a Fender endorsed product. Professional relic. I've been doing this for over 25 years. The guitar Cobain is set up and ready to play out of the aux. Fell apart a little bit there at the end, didn't it?
This is a...
Out of what box? Is this going to come out of a box?
No, it's going to come out of an ox. Could not with an ox. This is $600. This is a Fender Bullet Mustang.
100% is a Fender Bullet Mustang.
Squire Bullet Mustang.
I know you well. I know exactly what you are.
Somebody refinish this. The refinish...
I like it.
The refinish is fine.
I like it.
They lit the neck on fire.
I hate what they did to the
headstock.
It looks like the headstock shat itself. It's wearing khakis and it had a little accident walking around the county fair.
They did it to the back too. It's like they were trying to do a fake
cigarette burn.
No, because when you look at the neck, it looks like they're trying to do like a roasted maple thing.
But then they just gave up on the rest of the headstock.
It's bad.
But I kind of like the concept of the color, that light leafy green,
it's like a blue
fading into turquoise into black.
Burst.
Like I've seen bursts of that, but I like that this is a thin relic version of that. Mm-hmm. I honestly really like that finish. Like Fender should steal that for something, or some small builder could steal that.
There's so many things I don't understand. One,
I don't see anything on this that isn't the stock hardware and pickups.
What about this? I guess because it's a Mustang, so I guess I think Kurt's Farrington Mustang style guitar. I don't think it was a blue burst, but it was this kind of like blue green guitar, which I don't know if that guitar was ever featured in any of the music videos.
What model Gibson pickups did it have in it, Steve?
It was a Farrington. It didn't have Gibson pickups in it, I don't think.
I'm making a joke about your specific knowledge that you have on things, Steve.
How much would you pay for this?
Not $600, believe it or not. I do like the finish.
Would you pay $690 for the joke? No. Okay.
Just what joke is there?
690. This was sent by
600.
This was sent by.
That's a nice number, Steve.
Yeah, this was sent by Caligulon, by the way.
You know what?
Maybe you'd pay $420.
That's still too high. I was going to make that joke, but it's still too high. These go for $179 now, I think.
Something like that.
If this was at a pawn shop or like a flea market or something like that, I would up pay to get that finish. Mm-hmm. I'd up pay. I'd want to swap the neck afterwards, but I'm like, that's a cool finish. I wouldn't mind having another Bullet Mustang in my life. I'm going to go for it.
Do you think this neck is?
I wouldn't pay $420. I definitely wouldn't pay $690. I'd be comfortable with like $225.
25. That's not funny.
I know it's not a funny number.
Like you could have paid like
$225.69.
You could pay like $311. That's kind of funny.
It's a reference to a band.
Yeah, it's certainly an original price. That
with. You know, it's really super close to the actual value of this guitar is $182.
Oh yeah.
And it would be a good guitar for playing Blink 182.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd offer $182, please, for this guitar, sir. No, it's not. It's only conceptually worth more than stock if someone sees it and likes it. And then to everyone else, it's worth less. Like this, worth $100 maybe. Just because he didn't dick with the pickups and the electronics and stuff, and it's just going to be stock that way. He just did a finishing thing. Mm-hmm. But I do like the look, and I would have paid for it. So there's that. Sponsor? Mail.
Yeah.
Mail.
No, we're doing sponsor. We got to get this in. This week's sponsor, this show, is brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio.
That's right,
Makers
Steve.
of pedals more creative than you are. Like the
this
Bliss
one right
Factory
here.
that's discontinued, but we keep showing it off anyway.
I just like to think about how I have it.
I have one.
I have one too, Steve. It's right here in my hand. Yeah, I can turn it around. I can make it go back and forth in between our faces because I own it. And if you want to own one, you should follow them on social media and everywhere else. Get on the email list.
Go to their website, chaseplusaudio.com. Yep. Check out the rest of what they have. Also sponsoring this episode is String Joy.
That's right, Steve.
They make strings more creative than you.
They make strings more joy than you are.
No, they make their premier guitar string maker based in Nashville. And one of the things they do is you can go on their site and get custom packed strings. So say
for affordable prices.
Yeah, say you want it's actually interesting. They're custom string packs. So
it's like the same price.
Want like just specific string, like say you really like, you want a standard 10 set, but for some reason you really like want a heavy G.
Right.
Like you can get that and it's going to cost you the same as
you want like
string packs.
The lightest A string. You want that heavy E, but you want the lightest A string. You can get wild and crazy and it costs the same as their standard sets. Like you're risking very little, like getting wild and coming up with something different is all I'm saying.
If you've got some specific needs because of a particular instrument you have that's got some quirks, hit them up, send them an email, and see if they can accommodate what you need.
Oh, also, I noticed that if you get 3 packs, like you get a pack, you try it out, you're like, yeah, I like this, I want to commit. You get 3 packs, and then you get free shipping. Yep. And if you get 6 packs, you get 10% off, and I'm assuming still free shipping.
Yeah. So. I think head on over to stringjoy.com, and I think we're going to have hopefully an affiliate link down in the description. Yeah. So check that out.
I'm going to put in a order for a couple custom sets for me here pretty soon too. So I will be using those strings as well. And I used them in the past and I loved them. And I kept them on my guitar way too long because I was afraid that I was using them too quickly.
What is new, Ryan?
Well, we have this mail here in front of us, Steve. We didn't even do what's new last time because that was the guitar last time.
Let's do this one first because I know what this one is. Though maybe you can open that one faster. I want to do this one first.
I'm intentionally opening it very stupidly slow with little stabs.
I'm not doing
so that you have a chance to beat me.
This is a little pack that was sent to us by Tulpa Effects.
Oh.
They make a bunch of different little pedals that are really cool that are cryptid themed. And so they sent us some stickers. These are stickers for our Patreons.
Cool.
You can buy them at reverb.com/shop/Tulpa Effects. They're also on Instagram as Tulpa Effects. Let's see what this note says. 60 Cycle Hum. I hope your Patreon patrons enjoy It's a little envelope of swag. I include stickers, pics, some business cards, and some older character badges. Thank you again. Perhaps you'd want to demo a pedal in the near future. Perhaps we would. Legend has it. Sincerely, Kevin at Total Effects. P.S. Legend has it that correctly pronouncing Sathogua may summon him. Proceed with caution. I don't. Is that what what the icon is?
I don't know.
Man, there's a lot of stickers in here.
Let's
Thanks.
put one of them on here.
Look at all these cool little. Look at this. Look at this little guy. Look at this little guy.
Look at him.
You got some cards. You got some pics. Tulpa, I think, is the. Ooh. This is cool. This is like one of those hard series. This is Ragnala and Nantinak. This is fun, man.
All right, let's open this other thing here.
Let's open this other thing.
Oh, my goodness. We are either about to be treated to a nice treat of some sort or some sort of gift from a Batman villain. This is just, very fun presentation. It's from Amazon. Oh my gosh. No.
Did you ruin it?
It said on the thing what it is.
Yeah, but I haven't looked. Do you want me to open it so I can be surprised? Is it too late? You're going too fast.
Why are you doing this to me? It's an Azure Reverb. And they send it as a gift. Why did you do that?
Is there a note?
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to give something back to the channel that has given me so much. Thanks for being a friend, from Jason Welch. That's a freaking prank.
Are you
man.
sure that's...
I'm feeling like attacked.
Oh, this one's brown.
Oh, no, you think? You think it's a brown reverb pedal, Steve? Watch him send us one.
Oh my god.
Every week for 300 weeks.
What if this became like a meme and people just started sending them to
No.
People send 5 Iron Frenzy blue combs, or no, they would throw blue combs at the stage. All right, thanks everyone. If you want to,
that is a thank you for pranking someone is a way of showing that you love them.
If you want to send us some
Jason.
stuff, check out the address below or in the show notes or right here, whatever the hell.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere.
All right, what ad do you want to do next?
That's a good question, Steve.
We did that one. We did that one. Vintage Red K. You want to do that one?
No, let's do this pinstripe Fender, the vintage Fender.
Vintage Fender.
So this is local, and I found this, and this is a vintage Fender Squier Stratocaster 50th Anniversary Edition. Nice vintage sound as well. It's vintage through and through, guys. Vintage looks, vintage sounds. It even tastes vintage. I won it at a Good Guys car show. Custom pinstriping paint by Donner, a legend in hot rod restoration. Rarely played, excellent condition. $350. I don't know anything about that painter in particular, but it looks good. You are up paying for a Squier that, like, I'm going to take a stab and say that that's a Bullet or Affinity, and it's maybe a $200 guitar at best.
Yeah, I think it's an Affinity.
But that's legit pinstriping on there, and it would, like, if you're going to buy a wall decoration, it might as well be this. Like if when you moved into your house, you suspected that one room was Harley themed.
Yeah, this
guitar would
really
go
well.
in there.
And this guitar is definitely local because the tuners are covered in that freaking pitting that gets on everything.
The sea air pitting.
Yep. The pinstriping's really interesting. That whatever the like copper looking thing.
Well, no, that's it's like a gold inlay. It's the gold paper.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting shape. I'm not totally in love with that the shape of that copper thing.
Looks like a snake.
It does look kind of snaky. But the pinstriping is top notch. It looks awesome. I love that flourish on the pickguard itself. Like It's really good work. And like, yeah, totally for $350, 200 of that is a guitar, 150 for the artwork. If you're into that, like, that's legit. I think that's something that someone could and should buy.
Could and should. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Could, would, should. I think it is something someone would buy. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Steve? Or are you just going to be silent on that one?
I'm just looking at it still. I don't know.
People are going to think we're fighting.
The pinstripe thing is kind of, it's like orange and white on black.
You don't like those colors, Steve?
I guess it's done fine.
You don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone, Steve. One more ad? No sponsors.
No, let's do sponsors. Man, we're already getting a sponsor again. We just did sponsor.
I know, but it's fine, Steve. Jeez. People like our sponsors.
All right,
that's why we work with them. Is because we know that people like them.
This episode is brought to you by Demonic Machines.
That's right.
Do you think is this video going to be published?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was published. No, my demo is going to be published before last week's episode, Steve. I got the mold here. It's got 5 different knobs that shape the tone.
Yeah.
It is a super filtering fuzz pedal. It can also do like screaming, squealy, like whale noises and stuff like that. Demonic Machines make some cool stuff.
Yep.
It's got a bunch of knobs. It's a fuzz pedal. Go watch the video. Go buy it. We'll have a link down below. Go check it out. All right. Thanks for, coming to my TED Talk.
I want to know what the name of that thing is.
This is the mold fuzz. Oh, you mean this thing?
Yeah, that thing with the head.
It's the Clock2 Barista Nocto fuzz.
It just sounds like you're saying words.
That's how talking works, Steve. It's got a really hard to say name. It's about a demon.
It's the Alaborith distortion pedal.
Yeah, the Alabarista riff pedal.
There's no barista.
So anyways, what do you mean there's no barista, Steve?
It's Alaborith.
Look at the picture on it. That is your barista for the evening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's your barista. It's a demon that makes you choke on food and fish bones.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, that's what it is.
Are you making that up?
No, I'm not.
I'm looking this up. Alaborith.
Steve, it is a demon from the Book of Solomon.
From the Testament of Solomon.
The Testament of Solomon. The Testament book. You know what?
Oh, to save yourself.
I'm always reading the Testament of Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. So,
He is known for making people choke and swallow fish bones.
See?
To save yourself from one of his attacks while choking, take a bone from the fish you are eating and cough on it. This will immediately banish Alaborith.
That's where that came from. The thing that we all do. Yeah.
All right, this episode is also brought to you by Big Ear Pedals.
That's right.
Their pedals unfortunately will not curse you, I guess.
They'll curse you with a good time.
This is a slice of pie. You know what? Where's your Albie, man?
It's over there somewhere. You want the Albie?
This is the pedal that I like.
I like holding
the Albie.
I hope they make more pedals in this triangle case because it's really
Albie.
fun. Pizza.
All right. Head on over to biggerpedals.com.
You know why you should check out an Albie? Because it's named after a cat. Now you're going to go look it up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bigger Pedals.
It's a real Albie super cool.
It's a real pedal.
I'm not going to tell you what
That's
it does.
What Steve was going to say. It's a real pedal.
It's really cool. Let's do one more ad.
It's a pedal. It's real. Believe it or not. One more ad.
One more ad. One more ad.
Man, which one should we do? I'm kind of bored by these last two ones.
You want to just call it a night, man?
No, let me look at this.
Let's go to last week.
I'm exhausted just looking. Like, is there something special about this K?
Nope. Do you want to just talk about something? You got anything on your mind, man?
I don't know, man. Like, what's going on with you?
What have you been watching?
How are you feeling? Hey, like, what are we watching?
I've been watching. Oh, I watched. I don't know why, but
I haven't heard of that one. Is that a new Marvel show?
The remake of Get Smart. I enjoy that movie. It's an enjoyable movie.
Interesting. It was Steve Carell, right?
Steve Carell. I enjoy it.
Did you ever watch the original Get Smart?
Like here and there, but not. I don't know a ton about it.
I used to watch it on the television.
I heard
when I was
people
a kid.
who watched that show a lot did not like the remake.
It was all right. I mean, I did enjoy the original. The remake is just like, it was, you know, it was trying to cash in on that Austin Powers thing.
Right.
You know, so.
Yeah.
I have been watching Alone.
What's Alone?
Alone has a season on Netflix right now. They only put like one season up at a time. It's a game show. It's so wacky, but it's a survival game show. And literally all you have to do is be the last person to tap out.
Interesting.
And they dump like 15 people in the wilderness, like somewhere in Canada or something like that. They have a selection of 10 things that they could bring with them. That's like you can choose like bow, pot, tarp sort of thing. Everyone has to choose from the same sort of stuff.
I imagine the person who chooses pot is just like super chill the whole time.
Shut up. Not marijuana, Steve.
Oh.
A cooking pot for collection and cooking of food, Steve. So they just dump them somewhere and then they have to self-film themselves and just survive. And if they tap out, you know, if they're in a situation where like, I just got to get out of here or I'm done or I'm hurt, then they satellite phone like, hey, come pick me up. And if you win, if you make it to the very end, the way that they tell you is they bring one of your family members along to come get you. So it's this whole emotional moment. And some of these people last like 4 months.
Wow. And
they always drop them like beginning of fall or like mid fall. And so it transitions into winter and that's when stuff gets real, you know? I don't like game shows, but I like Alone.
That's interesting.
And like they're doing it for money that's like, it'll change your life, but it's not like game show for months and months of survival. It's like the one right now is for $500,000. It's for 500,000. And a lot of these people is not just like, hey, yeah, I want to do the show. I could use the money. It's like, no, a lot of these people are like, yo, I could use the money. Like, I got family stuff.
But that's like borderline, like it's, you know, we're all creeping towards the inevitable.
It is Hunger Games. Squid Games, Hunger Games. It is like, when you think about it that way, Running Man, it is kind of a Running Man's, but they're not
prisoners.
They're not prisoners.
They're not going to be executed.
Died yet, but on a previous season, like people tap out quick sometimes.
Right.
On a previous season, a guy was walking around like on the shore. And like just talking to camera and just like, yeah, I know I'm going to make it pretty close to the end, or if not, you know, he's just talking all this big talk and I saw some of the other people and they're not going to get very far, blah, blah, blah. He rolls his ankle and breaks it.
Whoa. Like just walking.
And he has to tap out. Like it makes it look like he just got dropped off.
Yeah. Jeez.
But like this season, they're in a part of Canada that is just crawling with bears and stuff like that. Like on a previous season, a freaking Wolverine showed up and ate someone's food.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's wild. They're really out there. And maybe it's all faked or something like that, but there's really nothing exciting enough to fake. It's like, oh, my traps are empty today.
There's someone who's like off camera who's got a Wolverine in a cage and just lets it out.
How do you like it's got a fun, I like it because it's got a bit of like a slow zen pacing because not a lot happens. And that's the point. Not a lot happens. It's not exciting. We're like, oh, I fought a cougar today. It's like something came in the night and ate my food.
Right.
Today I will collect more mud for my mud pile. You know? If I get hungry enough, I might break into the mud pile.
This sounds like me playing Minecraft.
It is kind of like real life Minecraft. They get out there, they start punching wood, you know.
Did you watch Miss Marvel?
I did, but I was kind of like distracted the whole time because I don't think it caught my interest. Like,
it's very I just kind of started Disney Channel
zoning out on
family, you know, Disney Channel original.
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Sure.
I
was watching it. I was like, I'm sure someone would enjoy this. I don't have any problems with it. It's just not grabbing my attention.
I kind of wish, and I'm not going to get my wish. I know I'm not. I kind of wish.
You don't know if I'm a genie or not.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. I kind of wish they have all this Phase 4 stuff planned, so it's not going to happen. But I wish in one of the upcoming Marvel movies, like they're going to do the Marvels, which is going to be Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. Mm-hmm. And they just did the Thor thing, and they got a new Ant-Man movie coming out, and they got the new Black Panther movie, all these things, right? And at some point, I kind of wish they would take all of the characters that exist in, that were in like Phase 1 and Phase 2 and just kill every single one of them off. No more of this Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, like Ant-Man, like all that, like just bye later, bitch. And then I want them to turn into like My Little Pony colors with the Young Avengers, where it's like Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, America Chavez, Miles Morales, and then like Echo from
the Dolphin?
From what the hell show was that? From Hawkeye, who's it's speculated will eventually become an Avenger. Like she's like the goth kid, and everyone else are these like bright and shiny, whatever, like colorful, and then she's the dark one. She's also deaf, which is kind of a weird thing to say about a deaf character, I guess. But yeah, I think that's like the direction I want it to go. I'm just like I realized this in
sounds like you want Marvel to start making like timeline one-offs like DC does.
I kind of want like the whole like the second wave where all of the actors are like under the age of 25. I want like a Suicide Squad version of that.
No, that's what you're saying. It exists in the DC universe, but it's not like a real DC storyline.
No, it can be a real DC story. It can be a real MCU storyline.
Okay.
Like it can be. I mean, I guess is Suicide Squad part of the DCU? I don't really know I don't follow DC.
I guess technically it's in that whole, like it's in the same universe as
like Justice League.
Why couldn't I think of it as Justice League?
So I don't
Steel
know.
And everything.
I'm just like I realized that in my reflection on.
It's weird to think about that. Like is Man of Steel. Think of the tone of it. Is it really supposed to be in the same universe as Suicide Squad?
I don't know.
Because that's like a real verse,
right?
Sort of thing. And then Suicide Squad is like we are in like Cartoon Town now.
Yeah, but I don't know that I want to go like full cartoon. I just realized like in my reflections on Multiverse of Madness, which I enjoyed. But I'm kind of like over old characters.
Sure.
Like I'm like, yeah, I guess this is like Doctor Strange is fine and whatever.
I kind of just over, like I haven't made any big moves to go watch the new Thor or anything like that. I might, but like I'm kind of just over the whole thing.
I think a lot of people are, and I think that's also why I'm kind of like just do something. Fatigue. Just do something totally off the walls.
And I felt like this back when Black Panther came out. I was like, okay, we can go see it. And I enjoyed it, but I was still like I could have waited to watch it at home.
I do think my favorite thing...
And I think I felt that way about Marvel for a long time now.
Yeah, I do think my favorite thing is that they, in both Multiverse of Madness and Miss Marvel, make references to either mutants or Earth 616.
Right.
Which is obviously they did that in Multiverse of Madness, and then at the end of Miss Marvel, one of the supporting characters is like, so I was looking at your genome and there's something wrong with it. It's like there's a mutation, and then they play the X-Men theme from the 90s from the cartoon. Right. And my favorite thing about that is so everyone's freaking out because Marvel's finally going to bring mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all this stuff, right? The woman who plays Miss Marvel was in an interview and said something to the effect of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, despite what's in Multiverse of Madness, despite what everyone keeps saying, there's no way it's Earth 616 because Earth 616 is in the comic books, So if the movies don't align with the comic books, then it can't be like Earth 666. I guess she's like super comic book nerdy. And so she's basically like, no, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has to be its own part of the multiverse. It can't be the same as the comic book universe.
Right.
I don't know. I thought that was really amusing. And then apparently Kevin Feige yelled at her or something. Made stink eye.
This story has me on the edge of my seat, Steve.
I know.
I've never been so riveted in my life.
I know.
Like, I am drooling to find out what happens next.
Oh, we got to play a song. That's what happened next. What happened next?
I think I astral projected there for a while, Steve, to get away from that story because I don't remember most of it.
This was sent by RR. Says, here's a song I wrote a while back. It's called Guitar Hero, and it's a bit of a tribute to hardworking guitar players.
People are going to think I'm mean to you now.
As well as Slash. You are mean to me.
We're
idea
mean to each
comes
other.
from the fact that Sweet Child of Mine is one of the most common songs learned and played in guitar stores by beginners. All the music was recorded by me using a Pocket Pod and a DR670 drum machine. Russell Reaghart from Kersey, I don't know, Pennsylvania. The song's called Guitar Hero. I'm going to push play.
It's tough for the new generation. Seems like before they rise, they fall. Some take the easy way, and some don't try at all. Look around and you'll see what I mean. We're in a sad state, it's true. There's no one to lead the way, and no one to look up to. And the world keeps falling down, but we'll all be just fine. When every kid in the world learns how to play, Sweet Child of Mine. Sweet child of mine. Play through a Marshall stack, you sound like a star. But playing fifths on the last four strings can only take you so far. This one goes out to the kid who practices each day, the ones who play the real guitars, not to computer games. We all have our heroes, it's true. You wanna make them proud, but someday it might be you. So turn that amp up loud. And the world keeps falling down, but we'll all be just fine when every kid in the world learns how to play Sweet Child of Mine.
feel a little bit disappointed that it didn't drop into a "Where did we go?" little bridge part. Where do we go? Where do we go now? Like that's like the payoff.
Do you remember
the payoff of the part being played wrong?
Right.
Made the whole thing even more worth it. Like that was a really fun moment.
Do you remember the song "I'll Trombone for Christmas"?
Yeah. Oh, how could I forget it?
And Adam's dad said that he thought Josh must have actually been like a really good trombone player,
or at least competent,
because it was so like rough that, but it was so like perfectly rough. And what I enjoyed about this is the very first time, as soon as he plays it, like I think you really have to be thinking musically to be like, how can I play something that's like consistently. I don't even think it's like you could even say, oh, they're definitely playing that riff wrong. They're definitely playing Sweet Child of Mine wrong, but I don't know that you could say that they're playing that riff wrong.
Right.
And there's a lot of very like competent lead parts in the rest of the song.
Oh, yeah.
Like the chops are all there. And this might be the best song we've ever been sent.
Whoa.
I had a lot of fun.
Steve went on a journey with that song.
In a very dumb way. It was amazing. I loved it.
It was musical comedy.
Thanks.
And it kind of makes you think too, right? I don't know. All right. Bye, everyone.
Stay grounded.